Hi guys, Jordan from P&P Campers. Just going to do a handover video on the Compass Kensington. So it's a 2019 model on the Peugeot Boxer chassis. All of the sort of consumable items on the underneath of the bonnet are on the left hand side. So over here on the left we've got the blue topped reservoir, which is our washer fluid. Underneath this little cover just here is your power steering fluid and your engine coolant. You've then got your brake fluid just here attached to the servo behind it, and your engine oil and engine oil dipstick are these two just down here on the top. You've got a little sticker just here which tells you the paint code for the vehicle, so if you ever need any touch-up paints, it's Fiat 210 on here for the white paint. Air conditioning information just here. You've got a couple of chassis plates here, so you actually need to look at this one on the right, because this is our sort of like uprated chassis plate. So this is the one that you need to look at if you ever needed any weights or anything like that. And down on the right hand side we've got your air filter inside this box here, and just to the right of that we've got a little tiny sort of metal bar just here, which is underneath this cover. Okay, so this little metal bar basically is your positive terminal for the engine battery. So if you ever wanted to jump start the vehicle from under the bonnet, you've got a positive terminal there and a negative terminal up here. Inside the passenger door, we've got the bonnet release handle just inside there. And I will show you in a bit more detail in a minute, but we've got the cab blinds throughout, which literally just pull across just like that. So it's really, really quick and easy. Pull that back nice and gently. And that's it. So yeah, bonnet release handle up there. Both front seats are swivel seats, so you have got these little handles just here, which as you pull on them like that, you'll then be able to remove the seat and move it to wherever you want it to go to. The diesel filling point is just here behind the passenger door, and you have also got the AdBlue filling point in here as well. So the bodywork's looking really nice on this van. You've got the full-sized wind-out awning just up there, and as I say, it is a Kensington. Kimberley is just another dealer that would have had a dealer special basically on this one. On the actual hab door itself, you have got a blackout blind. So because it's got a window on it, you do need to have the blackout blind, so that's there. The awning light is this one just here above the door, and you can turn that on and off by pressing this little button just here on the right of the control panel. So that turns that one on and off. Door retainer is a magnetic one, so if you see there, comes together really nice and tight, so to stop it from sort of waving around in the wind really. Next locker we get to is the gas locker. So this is our LPG locker. Essentially all there is to it in here is the bottle itself has got a valve on the top, so you go anti-clockwise around to the left to turn the bottle on, and clockwise around to the right to turn the bottle off. On the actual regulator itself, you've just got a testing point, so you haven't got to do anything with that. And the pigtail hose has got 2024 on it, so that needs to be replaced in 5 years from then, so 29. I'm going to leave the bottle on for a minute just to show you a few bits working. In this rear locker, you can probably just about see in there. Over on the right hand side there, we've got your water pump with the filter. So if you ever wanted any access to that, that's where that is. And all of these bits to the right of us are all to do with the heater. So again, you haven't got to do anything with that, but that's just what that is there. Last thing on the back, on the near side here, is your external gas point. So essentially, as soon as you've had the gas bottle turned on in the locker there, you'll be able to use this, and it's just literally a push fitting with a standard sort of external gas point. On the actual back of the van, we've got the 2-bike rack and reversing camera at the top. This locker in the middle is quite an important one, so this is where your electric hookup can be plugged in. They use these lockers because you can actually put the cable through this little gap here, and you can still completely close the locker and lock it with the hookup still attached. The leisure battery sits inside here as well, so you can remove this really easily and get to it nice and easy. There's nothing wrong with this battery at the moment, it's working really well. So yeah, good access to all that. Freshwater filling point is this one just here. So when it's unlocked, I'll just grab the key out and pocket. When it's unlocked, push in on the cap itself, and you'll then be able to take the cap out, push it in and round to the right, and then put the key back in to lock it. Next door to that, we've got the toilet cassette locker. So you haven't got any separate flush fluid to worry about on here, so it's literally just, as long as you've got some water in the fresh tank, you'll be able to flush the toilet wherever you are. To remove the cassette, lift up on the little orange tab here at the front, and then pull the cassette out towards you. You'll then be able to take the cassette all the way out, and then you can see what we've got going on there. So basically, to empty the cassette, twist this little valve round and take the cap off. That's where you'll actually drain it out from. And when you're physically draining it out from there, you need to hold down this little orange button here at the back, which will just release a little bit of the pressure, basically. Once you've emptied it out, 1 cap's worth of blue fluid goes back inside here, and then you'll be able to push this all the way back in until the little orange handle goes back over its little lip. And that'll then be ready to use again. So you have also got the tow bar down there as well. So it's a nice little thing to have just in case you ever wanted to use it, because they're not cheap things to have fitted to the motorhomes. Rear offside, we've got both freshwater and wastewater drain off points. So if you want to drain out the freshwater, you're looking at the blue one, and the wastewater is the grey one. They literally just twist, so it's super easy. Further towards the front, we've got these 2 vents just here, which are both to do with the fridge. So if you ever needed any access to the back of the fridge, which hopefully you won't need to, but if you did, that is the access to there, obviously top and bottom. And then the last thing on the outside is your newly fitted external hot and cold water point. So this is literally just a case of turning the pump on and putting in the fitting, and you'll be able to use hot and cold water wherever you are. So inside the actual cab itself, because it's quite a new vehicle, we've got a nice high spec in here actually. So over on the right hand side, we have got your electric windows, your electric adjusting mirrors from that one just there at the back. You've got your fog lamp from this little switch just here, and your headlight adjustments from those 2 there. On the actual steering wheel itself, we've got some controls here which are directly linked to the centre sort of head unit there. So you've got your volume, mute, skipping the sort of music and answering declining phone calls. Your your washers and wipers are on the right hand stalk just here. Indicators and lights are on the left hand stalk. And your cruise control one is this one down here on the left hand side. So, nothing more to it than that, really. It's just literally a case of going up and turning it on, setting your speed and all that sort of stuff. So the doubled in sized head unit just there, that is the standard factory fitted Peugeot head unit. Again, not really a huge amount to explain on that front. It's just literally, you know, radio, media, phone. You can set it all up. It's pretty self-explanatory, nice and easy. Below that, we've got your air conditioning switch from this one here. And then the rest of it is all literally just your heater controls. So again, very easy to use, but you've got your temperature on the left-hand one there, fan speed on the inside. You've then got your where the air gets blown to around on the outside, and whether it's on recirculate or being drawn in from outside. So you can change that to whichever one you'd prefer. Below that, we've got your ASR switch, which I believe, I'm always a little bit not 100% on it, but I'm pretty certain it's basically, if you're going to be going a little bit off-road, then it's all to do with like the stability control. So you can turn that on and off if you want to. Hazard lights from that switch just there, and you can actually lock and unlock the cab with this button just here. So if you wanted to lock the cab from inside, you can do that with this little lock symbol here. So that's about it for the cab, really. There's not much else more I can explain on that one. So first thing I'll show you is going to be the control panel, which is this one just here. So it's really simple, very, very small and easy to use. So essentially you have got, on the right hand side, we've got a main power switch just here. All right, so when I turn that on and off, anything 12 volt related gets turned off. All right, so that's just your main on and off switch. You've then got internal lights. So again, this one here will turn all of our internal lights on and off, which, by the way, all of the internal lights are nice LEDs, so they're not going to be drawing a huge amount of power. As I said, on the outside, this is your awning light switch, so that will put this light on and off, as you can see in the other van there. And the last one at the top there is your water pump. Okay, so you can just turn that on and off as and when you need it. To the left of that, we've got a couple of gauges. So we've got battery voltage in that one there. I've got all of the lights on, so it's not surprising that it's a little bit low. And our fresh water level, and we can see there we've got about half a tank of fresh water. So realistically now, I mean, I would be looking at plugging the hookup cable into the van, getting a little bit of extra power going into it. But as I say, we're inside and we've got all of the lights on inside the van, so it's not much of a surprise that the voltage is a little bit low. Another lights switch just to here. These are your over-counter lights, over cab lights if you like. So yeah, that's the control panel. That's it in its entirety. Below that, this other little control panel that you can see here, this is our heating and hot water. So essentially, to use it, on the top just here, we've got the water heating strip, and on the bottom we've got our heating strip. So the water heating, you can use that on either gas or mains electric. So depending on what you have available, you can click through and choose a few different options. So this one just here is our gas only option, and because I've only got the gas on and I don't have the hookup plugged in, that's the only way that I can actually use this the water heater anyway. So I'm going to leave that there on the gas. The other options are gas and electric, gas and a bit more electric, electric only, and electric 2 if you like. So you've got electric 1 and electric 2, just two different amounts of power basically that are being drawn. So if you have the gas on and you don't have the electric on, you need to have it here on this one. And if you've got the electric plugged in but you don't have any gas, then you need to select one of the electric only options. So the water heating is now on, and we know that because we've got a little gas symbol next to our water heating switch. The one below it, the heating, you've also got a few options. So again, I've only got the gas on, so I'm going to have to select gas only. And then I can select the temperature of the inside of the van. And it's genuinely as easy as that. Other options for the heating are slightly different. You've got heating and 2 electric. Electric 1, electric 2, and electric 3 on this one as well. But for the time being, we've just got gas only. Now, there will be paperwork for the whale heater, which will tell you exactly how much of electricity each one of those options is. But basically, the squiggly line ones are the electricity, and the gas flame symbol is the gas. So if you've got a little gas symbol or a little symbol next door to both of these, then it obviously means that your heating and your water heating are on at the same time. If I turn this to off, the heating one to off, the little gas flame symbol will go out next to the heating one after a few seconds. There you go. And you can see that the water heating one is still on because I've still got this one on. So if I go to off, then pretty soon the gas flame symbol will go out on that one as well. And there you go. So that is the entire heating and hot water system. It's really, really straightforward, and you know, you get used to that in no time. If you get any fault codes coming up, there'll be a little exclamation mark come up next to either one of these telling you which one it's related to. To remove that, you just press and hold with this and the plus button over here, and it will basically get rid of that. But if you want to have a little look into a bit more detail on that, then you can have a look through the paperwork as well for the whale heater. So heating and hot water down there, standard control panel just here above that. So the layout of this van, you've basically got the 2 side settees just here, which will pull together really, really easily to make a massive double bed in the middle. So this is a really popular layout where you've got the 2 side settees. it's generally speaking a nice and sort of sociable layout where you can have a full-size table in the middle just here, and it takes seconds to make this bed up and put it back away. As I say, both of the front seats do swivel round, so you can have both of those front seats all the way around there as well, so you can easily fit 6 people around this area at the front. Behind us we've got the full-size French bed, which actually I would say is slightly wider than your standard sort of French bed, and side kitchen just here, nice, decent amount of space really. And still, bearing in mind this bed is, well, it's massive for a motorhome bed, you've still got a good sized bathroom here as well. So under the bed, if I just lift this heavy mattress out of the way, under the bed we've got something quite important that I need to show you. So over here on this side, if I open up this little locker, you'll see that we've got our power supply unit, so your PSU. So essentially this is where anything that's got electricity running to it basically runs through this box here. Okay, so the power supply unit, it gets all of the power going to it, and then it sends the power off to wherever it needs to go to around the vehicle. So you'll notice that you've got trip switches on the top and you've got fuses at the bottom. Each trip switch tells you exactly what it does just below it. So if you ever have any problems with anything on the mains, you can have a quick look there and see if the trip has gone down for that appliance. Same goes for the fuses. Every single one has got a little word underneath it telling you exactly what it does. So same again, if you do get any problems with anything specific in the future and we aren't about to help you or whatever, then you can have a little look there and just check the individual fuses for everything. So the fact that it's all there in this one place is really, really helpful. It just saves you sort of finding every little wire and fuse all over the place. It's all just in one place here. It does say, which I will just sort of say again, you need to make sure that you don't cover this up. This is a really it does get quite warm, which is fine, it's meant to, but if you put things over it and cover all the vents up, then you're going to have a problem. So yeah, try your best not to cover that up. The awning winder is that one just there as well, so just in case you wonder what that was for. And you've also got a gas isolator point just there for the heater, so if you wanted to isolate the gas from the heater system, then you can do that from there. Right, just gently put that back down. So behind us we have got the full kitchen area. Now this is a mains powered appliance, all right, the microwave, so this will not do anything at all unless you're hooked up on the mains. All right, so just bear that in mind. To the right of that, there is a plug up there which is for the microwave, so if you wanted to unplug that then you can, but so you don't have to do that because it will just come on when you plug the hookup in. Any of these 3-point sockets that you see here, they are all mains powered appliances as well, so they won't do anything unless you've got the hookup cable physically plugged in. Right, so 3-burner hob. All right, there is a ignition just here on the bottom of this cooker area. So this actually does the ignition for the grill, the oven, and the 3 burners up here on the top. Okay, so that does all of that. I very rarely actually spend any time explaining all of this because it's just press the valve in with the ignition. It's very straightforward, doesn't need me to explain it. The water system is quite important, so you need to make sure that if you want to use the hot water, it's really important that you just do one thing, which is essentially just double check that there is actually water in the boiler itself. To do that, all you need to do, draw the water through on the cold side. So you can see there, it's coming through nicely. It's not coughing and spluttering going everywhere. Now turn it over to the hot side. As long as the hot side looks exactly the same as the cold and it's coming through nice and clearly and it's not coughing and spluttering, the pump should, in an ideal world, turn itself off, which it has done. And that means that your system is up to pressure and there's no leaks. So doing that literally takes a few seconds, but it just ensures that the boiler's full of water before you start trying to use it on the control panel there. briefly, just that, you know, the reason behind that is that if you try to use the boiler, I mean, realistically nowadays they should just turn themselves off if they get too hot. But it's always good practice not to try and use the boiler with no water in it. The heating is fine. You can use the heating without any water in the van. But the boiler, if you try and light the boiler up when there's nothing in it, there's a good chance that it'll overheat. So just making sure that you've definitely got water inside the boiler first, just by drawing the water through and just removing any air that might be in the system. So that's that. I'll just leave that there to cool down a little bit. Right, so the fridge is a Dometic 3-way fridge. 3-way because it works on 3 different energies, as you can see just here. So you've got mains electric, 12-volt electric, and gas. So they're the 3 options, or the 3 ways that will get this fridge cold. Now basically you've got, if you are hooked up on the mains, then you can select the mains option just there, and the fridge will start cooling down via the mains element, and it will take a good sort of 3 hours or so to actually get cold. And so if you want to use it on the mains and you're hooked up, that is all you have to do. You just select mains. The second one down, the 12-volt option, the little battery symbol, is only for using when you're driving. So this will not do anything at all unless your engine is running and you're driving. All right, the reason for that is that it actually takes its power from the engine itself, so it physically doesn't have any power to work unless the engine's actually turning over. So the other thing is with the 12-volt is that it's only really there to hold the temperature inside the fridge for when you're driving. It's not powerful enough to get the fridge cold by itself. So you need to make sure that you pre-cool the fridge before you head off, either on the mains or on the gas, and then switch over to 12-volt just for when you're driving. The one at the bottom is the gas, and so at the moment this is the only option that I have. It's the only way that I can actually use it, and it's literally as simple as this. You've got a little gauge on the right hand side, okay, and essentially when you press in on this little valve here and the ignition at the same time, the gas flame will light up. Okay, so it will take a little minute for it to actually go up into the green, by the way, but yeah. So that is how you would use the fridge. It's honestly as simple as that. After a little while, you will see that little orange gauge go up into the green, just telling you that it's warmed up and it's working properly. But yeah, that is honestly all there is to it. So, to the right of that, as I said, we've got your grill just down here, which is just push it in and round on the left one with the ignition. And we've got the oven below that as well, which is this one here on the right with the ignition. This little thing that's coiled up here is the fitting for the external hot and cold water point. So if you wanted to use that external point, then you've got that point fitting just in there. Below the oven, we have got your gas isolators. Oh, just tightening up that little catch there. So the gas isolators are only really there, to be honest, for us, for our testing purposes. You can isolate the gas from each individual appliance if you want to. The top one is the oven, middle one is the grill at the top, or sorry, not the grill, the 3-burner hob, and the bottom one is the fridge. So if you wanted to isolate the gas from any of those appliances, you just turn them 90 degrees like so, and that means that the fridge is now isolated from gas. But as I say, you do not need to do that. Turning the gas bottle off inside the locker is, you know, sufficient. It's actually a lot better than isolating these things here. So the only reason you would ever do that is if you thought you had a problem with a specific appliance. As I say, it's more so for us when we're doing our tests. So you've got a massive wardrobe just here. All the original fitted carpets are in here as well, and your full-size table as well. So if you want to use the table, you can pull that out from here. Okay, yeah, carpets. All the paperwork for the van is in this brown folder just here. And at the top of this locker, you'll see that we've got your TV aerial. So spin this anti-clockwise, and then you can be able to push this TV aerial up and move it around to wherever you want it to go to. So wherever you can get a decent signal. Make sure that you give that a little nip up before you start driving off as well, because that will fly away. You've got your TV aerial booster here as well, okay, which has got a little on and off switch on somewhere. down there at the bottom. And this little plug just here to plug in. There you go. So that's your TV aerial booster. And then I think the last thing is going to be the bathroom. So in this particular bathroom, you've got obviously a full-size shower just here at the front. This screen will come around, if I undo it properly first, the screen will come around like so and meet up over there with the magnetic strip. The other side of this door, by the way, is waterproof, so that's not going to cause any problems with the wood there. And that is your shower compartment just there. Pull this back across and carefully pop it back into place with these little catches. And then behind that, we've got the toilet and nice little basin. Just so you know as well, just in case you're worried about it, you'll literally, what I was going to say was actually that a lot of these ones don't even have this drain in them, but this one has got a drain, so just ignore what I was going to say. but yeah, basically just hot and cold tap just there. And then push it away, lock it back up. The toilet is just as easy as everything else. You've got a blue button down on the right hand side of the toilet. Press on that and your flush fluid will pump around into the bowl. When you want to drain this out into the cassette, push this little handle here to the right and everything drains into the cassette. Make sure that you pull the flap back to the middle, because otherwise if you don't pull that flap back, you won't be able to take the cassette out from outside because it will be locked in position. So, just double checking that I've not missed anything out. Of course, there are other little bits and pieces that I could spend all day talking about, but they are the basics, and the rest of the stuff is all just sort of little tiny things that you'll come to find. But yeah, so I think I've explained everything that I can. If there's anything else that you think I've missed out or anything you want going over again, just give us a shout. But otherwise, we look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks very much.